Hello everyone, I'm Lu Sirui. Finally, life has returning to normal, although little by little. The reopening of school is a sure sign of it, because we would agree that no one wants to take a chance on school children's health. And I'm here at the experimental high school attached to the Beijing Normal University. And this is it's one of the hundreds of schools in Beijing choose to reopen its campus today after months of shutdown. And previously, various programs have been set to help students study at home. But for the students who will sit for the national college entrance exam, every minute of countdown is too important to miss. So 400 of these final year students today will come back on campus today, and let's see what measures they have been taken to offset the effect of this closure. So we are now here at the first stop of the visit of the campus. At this gate, as we could see, here is a green tent or maybe green channel for students to come in. And here, students will have their temperature checked, and their temperature will be seen on the TV screen. And also, after their temperature have been checked, they will have their hand sanitized. And if they don't have a mask, they have a mask to choose here and a glove. And if students' body temperature shows any irregular signs, they will be suggested to, on my left side, this blue tent. On this blue tent, we see the Chinese sign saying isolation room. And in this room, the students will have their body temperature checked for the second time. And if it still shows anything irregular, they will be suggested to stay in this tent, and the ambulance will pick them up from here. And also, we could see the medical workers, and also later we will have some psychological consultant come in here if any students are advised to stay here, and to help them and to comfort them before they are picked up by the ambulance. So this is pretty much for our first stop. And then we're now heading to the students' classroom for our second stop. Let's go. So now we're heading to the students' classroom. We mentioned earlier that this year is a crucial time for those who will take part in the National College Entrance Exam. And these are the students in the last year of the 3-year high school attendance. And the exams, known as gaokao in Chinese, is postponed by a month in Beijing this year to the first weekend in July. In fact, for many students, gaokao means it's a crucial point to determine their future, because living in China, this most populous nation in the world, every year tens of millions of students sit in this exam, and this year is not an exception. And behind these hundreds of students, tens of millions of families are hundreds of millions of families and parents, and of course, and then their teachers. So we can simply put it this way: the society almost freezes on the day when students write their sheets that will definitely decide their future. And so, in fact, for the past few months, these students all have studied at home and communicated with their teachers through the internet, and then they showed stable performance in their first simulated exam. As we could see, before we get into the classroom, we see here we have a special dustbin. It's for the mask for medical supply waste, especially. And the other dustbin cans are regular types. Okay, let's go. Let's continue. Okay. Okay, so now we are right in front of the classrooms, and one of the measures that the school has taken in curbing the spread of the disease and to ensure the student safety is to limit the amount of the students in the class. And they have divided a regular-sized class into 3 types. And we're going to discover how these 3 types of class differ from each other and how they meet students' needs. Let's go. So now we are here at Class A. So in this classroom, usually we would observe a more conventional teaching and learning process, where you could see teachers and students' interaction with each other, although they may have to wear masks. But now you might not see teacher teaching in the classroom because this is the first day of the reopening of school. Students are waiting for the opening remark of the principal and other students, the representative of students' speech. They are waiting for them live streaming and then watch them on TV. And then, so also in this room, we would see a white colored camera. And this camera is helping to live streaming the teaching and learning process happening in Class A and share it with the students in Class B. And so now let's go to see how Class B works. Let's go. Okay, so now we're at the back of Class A, and also we see another camera here. It's in black color, and this camera is helped to live stream the teaching and learning process and share it with the students who would want to study at home. So in fact, this year, except for the 400 students who want to come on campus and study, 40 students choose to study at home. And that is the device that helps them. So now we're at Class B. And in this type of class, students don't interact with teachers directly. They would study quietly and watch teacher teaching in Class A. And now we also don't see teachers in this class, and we see the students are kind of sitting apart from each other and behave nicely, good students. And in fact, I had a question about the application of Class B, because if you don't want to interact with teachers directly, why bother to come all the way from your home and arriving at school and kind of taking the risk of your life to study on campus at this particular time? And I asked the teacher about this, and then they told me because at the end of the day, gaokao is a highly competitive exam. Students need to feel some kind of peer pressure. They want to have the kind of atmosphere that they are studying together. They want to know how others are doing. And so now we are at the another type of class. It's self-study room. It seems like it's empty right now. Seems like no students are interested in this type of class. This is for the students who just want to study quietly, who don't want to interact with teachers and or watch what's going on in other class. So, after discovering all these 3 types of classes, what class are you interested in? I would prefer Class B, because in this way, I don't have to be worried about being asked questions and stuff. But then I will still know how teachers and students interact with each other. Okay, now we are almost finishing our second stop, and then we're going to head to our third stop. Okay, so I've seen our viewers sending messages saying that the bells of the school sounds the same as hers when she was in her high school. I guess the schools have the same kind of habit of repeating or using the same kind of bell. Okay, now we're heading to the supply room of these of the school. So although the pandemic seems to be under control across the country, strict measures are still in place to prevent potential rebound. So this would require abundant supply of, for example, medical supplies and disinfection liquids. But for a big school, as a school as big as this, how things operate, and then are they having adequate supplies? So we're going to talk to the person in charge of the supply resources, and then to see how the school operate in this area. And then, 郭老师好. And this is the the manager of the supply office. We will interview him later about how the operation of this site. But before that, we will have to let's see what the school have here. 我们一会儿问您，我先解释一下. So as we could see here, we have various kind of products, masks here, surgical masks, also disinfection liquids and sanitizers, and soap, some regular soaps and stuff, and also gloves. Okay, so now I'm going to talk to teacher Guo about how school operates in this field. 所以郭老师，我们的这个供应室在这个整个的就是疫情期间，在学校的这部分，它的功能是什么呢？
供应室呢，在学校这个防疫期间，最主要的功能就是管理防疫物资。管理学校教委啊和社会捐赠的这些物资，最重要就是这个。
对，那这个供应室之前的作用是什么？
之前供应室啊是平时就是制定一些采购计划，然后管理3个校区的办公用品、维修用品、生活用品，这是最主要的。
Okay, so he told me that before the COVID-19, this office is used to support the use of, for example, stationery and then some daily used products for schools, for teachers and students. But after COVID-19, they added in all these medical supplies and to help the school to contain the spread of disease. And 那郭老师，就是我们这里的这些产品大概。有多少，然后能支持多久？学校多久的使用？
现在最主要的物资，口罩，如果在学校整体的范围来说，应该在4万6左右。如果按照现在就是高3和初3的这个开学的情况，坚持到这个暑假来是没有问题的。
Okay. So he says the masks that stored here would support the students from senior 3 and junior 3 to use them until July. I think it's for their before their summer vacation. That's in July after they finish their gaokao. 所以那我们整个这个学校的老师和学生怎么来领这些物资呢？我们是怎么分配的？
每个教师每周有10片口罩，就是按照8小时工作制。这个口罩是有效期是4个小时嘛，上午1片，下午1片。学生呢，如果有特殊情况，比如不方便买，或者是家庭困难，特殊情况特殊对待，也会给学生发。
So he said all the teachers can have 10 pieces of mask every month. 10片 一个月每周 okay 10 pieces of mask every week. And then for the students, if they have problem in buying masks or have some special conditions in their families, they can also apply for masks here. 然后整个那比如说每个年级他们是怎么会统一分发吗？还是？
对，每个年级会由备课组或者是各处室，他们专门有人来我这儿去领取，根据他们相应的人数来领取他们这周的物资。
所以是以周来领的。
对，每周。
So also every grade, teachers they will summarize the materials and the supplies they need every week, and then it will be issued or signed by the director of that grade, and then they can have that order and then find Guo 老师, then find Mr. Guo, and then they will they can apply the supplies they need. 所以郭老师到目前为止您的工作量怎么样？开学这2天？
开学这2天的工作量比较大，但是应该是再过一段时间，工作各方面捋顺了之后，可能会相少一点。
So Mr. Guo said these days because of the reopening of school, his workload is a little bit high, but he feels that his work is going to be easier later when people are more familiar with the procedures. 所以谢谢郭老师，谢谢您继续工作吧。
好，谢谢，再见。
开学开心。
再见。
Okay, bye bye.
拜拜。
Okay, all right. So let's go to our next step. That is also a very key section of students' school life. That is their canteen. Haha. So I see a viewer's message, Emma Chua, and then she said, or maybe it's a he. Yeah, she said, if I were a student, I'd prefer Class B too. Yay. I like Class B too. I know it's a little bit bad, but I don't want to be asked questions. And also, she said, well, the school was complete supply of healthcare products. Yes, it's a must now. Okay. Okay. Oh, Southern Cameron. Okay. All right. So now let's go to the canteen. I think social distancing is a key in curbing the spread of COVID-19, and students and teachers are strictly required to be apart from one another for at least 1 meter. So this sudden change of school etiquette is alien to most students. They've never seen it before. And as a result, lunchtime is not fun anymore, I guess, although they can still eat and drink and even talk with each other. But it's not as convenient as familiar as before. And as we head into the kitchen, we see these red lines. These are the signs for students to line up here. It's a 1 meter sign. I think this sign will continue into the kitchen, into the canteen. In fact, lunchtime is perhaps the riskiest part of students' time in school while the pandemic is not completely over. You know, taking off your masks, hand sanitizing, and droplet transmission, contact transmission, all these words might be emerging in your mind. So let's see how the school cope with this situation. And at the entrance of the canteen, we see a machine here because now it's not the lunchtime. So, yes. So if you get closer to this device, then it will show your temperature. And the students will have to check their temperature first here at the gate, and then have their hand washed here, hand sanitized here, and then they would be guided into the canteen here. Also, we see the red lines for students to line up. And because it's still not the lunch time yet, so it's empty, but then we still see some staffs are working here, preparing the milk and chopsticks and hand sanitizers here. And yeah, even though that from the arrangement of the chairs and the tables, we can see that the students